team? So good to see you as always. Bit of a spontaneous video, but such an important thing to work on. We want you guys and girls out there to understand that happiness, being happy, being more motivated is a process, it's a journey. It's not one of those things where a lot of people try to say, you know, you're gonna pick it out of the air and one day you're gonna be happier. It's not as simple as that. It's about inner size, it's about constantly working on that process, and we want to give you some things to implement in your life right now. So one of the main reasons we're doing this video is because I was watching TV the other day, and there's good, there's bad, there's news, there's all this sort of stuff going on, and a worrying statistic came out, and it was that loneliness is one of the biggest killers right now, obviously linked to depression and many other things, but loneliness as a whole is killing more of us than anything else, and that really, it did shock me. Equally, which is worrying.
I think what we need to understand is that you'd be forgiven for thinking that now with technological advances that we would be less lonely than ever, but actually that's not the case because we're quite alienated. When we're behind a phone, we don't really have the social connections that we had with people before, and also it's very easy to put like an idealism in your head. So you see a celebrity, how they're looking, and like, oh, you feel like you're meant to look that way. So you've isolated yourself because you don't look like that person, and the fact is we are the majority. The majority of the world do not look like that person. That person is the minority. So to make yourself feel like you're expected to look that way is just not true. Yes, we want you to look awesome, we want you to have goals to work to, but just remember that these people, one, they get paid to do it, a lot of them have cosmetic surgery, and some of them are just very gifted. So don't think that you are in the minority by not looking like a certain celebrity looks.
Yeah, exactly that, and even before worrying about all of that aesthetic stuff, it sounds a little bit random, but we have to start to look at our body. Our body is a vessel. Our body is still as an external source, in my opinion. You've got to search inside. Worrying about all the aesthetic stuff is fantastic, but that's only really gonna bring your happiness up for a small period of time while you're on that journey. And then by the time you get to that six-pack or arms or legs or whatever it is you may well want, you're gonna have a million other things that you don't like. But that's because you're not working on this part inside. If you can learn to love yourself, love who you are, love what you've got, and want to work on it at the same time, it's going to put you in fantastic stead for bringing your basal rate of happiness up.
And there's lots of ways you can do this. Like, we're not going to tell you, oh, love yourself more and not give you any ways to do it. And the thing is, you need to understand is there's not going to be a definitive answer for everyone. It changes, it depends. But things that you definitely want to do is to start being more aware. So being more aware of how you're feeling, how things are making you feel. If you have a conversation with someone and they say something, and maybe it's about a family member or an old friend, and you're like, oh, that hurt a little bit. Rather than kind of dealing with it then, when you've got a bit of time by yourself, take some time and ask yourself, why did that upset me? And go, why? Keep chasing it back until you find a root cause. More often than not, you'll find out the reason it upset you, the real reason, doesn't really hold any value. And this is because a lot of the kind of thought processes and the reasons that we make up, they are from the age of adolescence to being a young or an older teenager, really. So a lot of our ideas are from what parents have passed on to us, like money doesn't grow on trees. What other ones that are there? Just all these things.
I want doesn't get.
Let me just cross it. I want absolutely do 100% get.
Yes.
If you want something, you make it happen, you put your effort into it, you put your hard work into it, and it does happen. Because like attracts like. What you put out is what you're gonna get back. Positive people have positive people around them, and there's a reason for that. Like, if all your people around you are miserable bastards, I'll be looking at yourself a little bit as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because it's not a reflection.
Exactly.
Along with awareness, there has to come another process which we call acceptance. Accepting that you're not in control of everything out there. The Wi-Fi breaking down is not the world going, fuck you, John.
Yeah.
It's not that. And if you're going on holiday, don't go and check the weather forecast. What does it matter? Go on holiday and spend some time with the person that you love or the family that you love. You can't control whether it's gonna rain or the sun's gonna come out. If it rains, it doesn't mean that the holiday's ruined. It just means you might have to stay inside or get wet. It's not the end of the world.
I think if we all had a bit more acceptance, we would understand that we are all incredibly fragile. Like each and every one of us. It doesn't matter how big you are, how small you are, how powerful your job is, you are as fragile as the next person. And what happens with this is that people don't want to let that show, so they walk around with an ego and they get aggressive and they give you the middle fingers and they hoot the horn in the car, when actually that's not really the way. That doesn't bring you peace and it doesn't bring you happiness. And then the only thing that is constant in your life and will forever be constant until long before after the day we're gone is change. The world is always changing, your body is changing, your relationships are changing, you're getting older. All these things are always changing. If you can learn to accept that fact, then you just kind of shoot your happiness absolutely through the roof. Partners will change, relationships will break down, people will pass away. People will pass away. And I'm not going to say that doesn't hurt, it's going to suck, you're going to grieve, but if you can learn to accept that these things are going to happen, you set yourself up into a much better stead for being happy.
One thing that's super important to try not to do as much as you can is try not to seek others' approval. We do it all the time. We always want, and we always say to our friends or our partners, what do you think this looks like? Oh, do you like this? Do you like that? Worry about what you think first. Ask yourself, if you're gonna go into a shop and you're gonna try something wacky on, like I like to all the time.
You do.
Look in the mirror and go, do I like this? Don't worry about what your friends are gonna say, your family gonna say, anything like that. Just a real simple process. If you like it, that's what's important. When I see people walking around the city now and they've got the most crazy fashion sense and they're walking around like they just do not care because they've bought something that they truly want. And the people that you notice that are looking really uncomfortable in their shirts done up randomly, it's because they've turned around and bought something that they don't really want. They just want it to be accepted by their friendship group. And it's about being with you, being with yourself, loving what you've got, love who you're with, and people will love you and respect you. They might take the mick out of you, but normally just because they're jealous.
Do you remember that guy? He was awesome. We were walking through London the other day, and he had like a pink velvet suit on and green crocodile shoes, and all I could imagine was like in his inner monologue, in his head, like Stevie Wonder Superstition was playing.
And you just looked at him, it was like he had this aura about him, but all it was the only thing about him was that he doesn't really care.
Zero fucks were given.
He's not doing it for anyone else, he's doing it for himself, and that's where it starts. And what we're trying to get across in this video, it might be a little bit jumbled, is that it's normal to feel a bit weird, it's normal to feel a little bit out there, it's normal to feel lonely to a certain extent, but we need to understand that being on our own, as well as being with people, is a really powerful thing. It's just a case of how you channel it. Don't be on your own and go, oh, I'm on my own. Thank God that you're on your own, because when your friends are there and your family are there shouting in your ears, it does your head in. You got to enjoy that time, enjoy spending some time with yourself, go to the coffee shop, sit at home.
Spend time thinking, explore what makes you happy. Most of us don't even know what makes us happy and what we're scared of and what we can't work on these things to bring ourselves more happiness if we don't know what the issues are. So spend time and ask yourself, and so many of us are scared to do this because we're scared of what we might find, or we know and we don't want to face it. Exactly. Going for a walk in nature is one of the best things you can do. I got really upset, stressed about something that happened the other week, and it was a big thing. It was a massive problem. But I went for a walk around the lake and I just kind of chilled out, and you think about stuff logically, right? How does this affect this? In the grand scheme of things, does it really matter? I've got an amazing girlfriend, I've got great friends, and I've got an awesome family, and that's what matters to me.
So we're going to stop it there because we don't want to give too much of what's in the book away in the Be Happy section, but the link's in the description box if you're interested in it. We love you all so much. If you enjoyed this video, give it a massive thumbs up. We hope you're feeling awesome, because you're awesome, and we will see you this time next week. Hell yeah. Goodbye.
Bye guys.
Go swimming. Oh no. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a massive